a feast for the caravan. Bahira then arranged a feast for the entire caravan. Everyone attended except for Prophet Muhammad, who was tending the camels. Bahira inquired about him, and someone was sent to bring him. When the Prophet arrived, there was no shaded spot left under the tree, so he sat in the sunlight. Immediately, the tree's branches bent down to provide shade for him. Bahira closely observed everything and asked Abu Talib, "What is your relation to this boy?" Abu Talib replied, "He is my son." Bahira said, "This cannot be true because his father cannot be alive." Abu Talib then explained, "He is my nephew. His father, Abdullah, passed away before he was born." Bahira's advice. Bahira advised Abu Talib, "This boy is the foretold prophet. He has all the signs mentioned in our scriptures. I fear that if the Jews or Christians in Syria recognize these signs, they may harm him." Taking Bahira's advice seriously, Abu Talib sent Prophet Muhammad back to Mecca under the protection of some of his companions. After this incident, Abu Talib never took the Prophet on another journey to Syria, fearing for his safety. Another significant event of that year. It was during this same year that Umar ibn al-Khattab, R.A., who would later become one of Islam's greatest leaders and the second caliph, was born. This event marked an important milestone in the life of Prophet Muhammad, highlighting his exceptional status even in his early years. The Battle of Fijar and the Pact of Hilf al-Fudul. The purity of Prophet Muhammad before prophethood. Authentic narrations confirm that Prophet Muhammad's youth and adolescence remained free from all the immoral practices, indulgences, and undesirable behaviors common in the pre-Islamic era. Despite living in a society steeped in depravity and vice, Allah protected him from such evils. While his peers were engrossed in the frivolities of youth, he stood apart with his righteousness and purity, emerging as the most virtuous individual in Mecca. He never participated in the idolatry or polytheistic rituals practiced by his people during their worship at the Kaaba. Instead, he maintained his monotheistic belief and refrained from acts contrary to the principles of Abrahamic faith. Even before his prophethood, Allah safeguarded him from all forms of indecency, corruption, and shirk, polytheism. Participation in the Battle of Fijar. At the age of 20, Prophet Muhammad witnessed a fierce battle between the Quraysh and the tribe of Qays, known as the Battle of Fijar. The allied tribe of Banu Kinana supported the Quraysh. This battle took place during the sacred months when fighting and bloodshed were prohibited, hence the name Fijar, violating sanctity. Each subtribe of the Quraysh formed its own battalion, with Banu Hashim being led by Prophet Muhammad's uncle, Zubair ibn Abdul Muttalib. The overall command of the Quraysh forces was under Harb ibn Umayyah, a prominent leader and warrior, and the grandfather of Muawiyah ibn Abi Sufyan, R.A. According to Ibn Hisham, the conflict began over a murder at the marketplace of Uqais. Both sides blamed each other, leading to an escalation that resulted in war. Though Prophet Muhammad participated in the battle alongside his uncles, he did not engage in fighting. Instead, he helped by gathering and handing arrows to his uncles. His abstention from fighting was due to the sacredness of the months and the fact that both sides were polytheists. Allah protected him from purposeless bloodshed, as fighting in Islam is only prescribed to elevate Allah's word and establish justice. The battle began with Qays having the upper hand, but as the day progressed, the Quraysh gained the advantage and eventually won. However, elders on both sides intervened and proposed peace. A truce was reached wherein both sides counted their dead, and compensation, blood money, was paid for the excess fatalities. Participation in the Pact of Hilf al-Fudul. Arabia was plagued by endless tribal conflicts and senseless bloodshed, which destroyed countless families and ingrained cruelty into their culture. After the Battle of Fijar, some noble-hearted individuals grew weary of this meaningless violence and sought to revive an ancient pact called Hilf al-Fudul. This pact, originally initiated by virtuous individuals named Fadl ibn Fudala, Fadl ibn Wadaway, and Fadl ibn Harith, aimed to establish justice and curb oppression. The pact was named Hilf al-Feudal because all the initiators shared the name Fadl. After returning to Mecca from the battle, Prophet Muhammad's uncle, Zubair ibn Abdul Muttalib, proposed renewing this agreement. Representatives of the clans of Banu Hashim, Banu Zurah, and Banu Taym gathered at the house of Abdullah ibn Judin, a respected elder. They pledged to support the oppressed and ensure that no tyrant would be allowed to act unjustly in Mecca. Prophet Muhammad, who attended this meeting, later remarked, "I witnessed the pact of al-Feudal at the house of Abdullah ibn Judin. Even if I were given red camels, a great wealth, I would not prefer it over this pact. If I were called to such a pact in Islam, I would respond positively." The reason for Hilf al-Feudal. One of the reasons behind this pact was an incident involving a merchant from the Zubayd tribe. He brought goods to Mecca, and a Qurayshi man, as Ibn Yl, purchased them but refused to pay. The merchant sought help from the clans of Abd al-Dar, Maksum, Juma, Sam, and Adi, but none assisted him. In desperation, he climbed Mount Abu Qubais and recited verses describing his plight. Moved by his plea, Zubair ibn Abdul Muttalib took action, rallying the aforementioned clans to convene and form the pact. They not only ensured justice for the merchant, but also established a framework to prevent such injustices in the future.